Alright, y'all, back in the video. Today's gonna be unpopular opinions video. I know y'all been wanting this because I asked y'all what requests y'all wanted, and like 2 people have requested that. So I'm just gonna real quick give it to y'all. Big forehead. But anyways, I'm just gonna real quick give it to y'all. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 right here. And I know that's kind of short, but I'm gonna just try to go into detail about each and every one. Now, these are kind of a really controversial, might get my black card revoked, especially the first and last one might get my black card revoked, but we just finna say what we finna say. First of all, I'm not a coon. But anyways, so let's get right into it. All right, so the first one says, and this is my opinion as a black person, as a real effing N-word, this is my opinion as a black person, right? So I put somebody saying the N-word, you know, N-I-G-G-A, doesn't necessarily make them racist. And I say this because, you know, it is wrong for a non-black person to say the N-word. Obviously, we all know that you shouldn't do it if you're non-black. We all know that. But I don't think it necessarily makes them racist. Like, and I'm not making excuses. This is not making an excuse, but I'm just saying, because I'm personally like to look at stuff literally. Like, if it's not what it is, even though it might be wrong, it doesn't make it a completely different thing, if that makes sense. So yeah, somebody, and this goes with cultural appropriation too. I don't think someone just necessarily, if they're white or whatever, wearing box braids or wearing locks, necessarily makes them 100% racist. I just think, but to me, it crosses a line into being racist when they start ignoring black people, telling them no, and they start playing in black people's face. Like, I don't care what y'all monkeys think, I'm still gonna wear these braids. You know what I'm saying? That's when it crosses a line into racism. But if somebody just, you know, just started saying the N-word and it wasn't really aimed at nobody, like they was singing a song, I don't think that necessarily can make them racist, because at the end of the day, we have to look at the actual definition of racism is hating somebody because of their race and whatnot. So yeah, if somebody who's non-black says the N-word or cultural appropriates, I don't think that automatically makes them racist. Now, what they choose to do surrounding that can make them racist. Like I said, if they ignore black people telling them to take it out, or if they start doing it just to antagonize black people. Like, for example, I'm still gonna say the N-word, you know what I'm saying? Like, that crosses the line into being racist, right? But yeah, just them saying it doesn't make them racist. And also, like, this is, like I said, ain't making no excuses. Like, I'm not saying that they can't say the N-word, like, no, you shouldn't be doing that, but I don't think it makes them racist. But anyway, so next one. This also kind of goes with the first one, but a different topic. And I said, in my opinion, someone who is straight draws MLM, like man love man, not safe for work, I don't think it's fetishizing. Now, people are gonna say, you don't have a reason to speak on this, you're not MLM, you're not part of the LGBT community. Who told you that? But anyways, girls, so yeah, or let's just take WLW, right? To me, it only becomes fetishizing if they only draw MLM, not safe for work. If they only draw WLW, not safe for work. If they only draw gay relationships, not safe for work. Because in order to fetishize it, you have to think, oh, well, it's good enough to draw not safe for work, but it's not good enough to draw a regular healthy relationship. It's like the people who have anime ships and they only ship like gay ships. Like, I feel like that can be counted as fetishizing.
Now, I said this wrong. What I meant to say was, if they only ship the gay ships because they're gay, now I feel like that could be fetishizing. And also, if they see the ship is like spicy or like better than the rest because they're gay and because they're not safe for work that goes with it.
But if someone just ships a certain ship and they're like, hey, I want to draw some spicy not safe for work it is, then why not? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like if you automatically draw it, it's fetishizing. But like I said, if that's all you draw, and if the only reason you're talking about MLM is not safe for work, and also if this carries over into real life, and every time you see a gay couple, that's all you can think of is them having smacks, you know, then that's wrong. In my opinion, that's wrong. But in my opinion, someone just drawing MLM doesn't make them a fetishizer. I mean, if someone could tell me why, then I'll change this opinion. But in my opinion, just somebody drawing it maybe once, maybe twice, maybe a few times, but that's not all they draw, then, you know, yeah. And then, okay, so this one's kind of weird. It's kind of triggering. They're all kind of triggering, let's be honest here, but this one's kind of triggering for murder, blood, stuff like that. So the third one says, kid murderers over the age of 12 should be treated as adults. Because I used to watch this show, right? And I forgot what it was called. I think it was called like Child Murderer Sentenced to Death or something like that. And pretty much it was about like these kids under 18 who had murdered people, and it was about trying to get them out of jail. And I hated that because I'm like, this was a 15-year-old who had killed their childhood best friend and dragged their body out and tried to bury them and then lied to the police. Like, this is calculated. Like, why are we trying to get them out of jail? Because they was in jail for like 11 years because, and then whenever they was in their 20s, they're trying to get out because they did it when they were kids. I don't feel like that's fair. Now, unless like you were like abused or like something where you feel like you had to do it, where it was a dangerous situation, like self-defense, and that's the only way I justify it. But no, you're not gonna sit here. I don't care if you're 12, 14. By the age of like 12, you should know that you don't murder people. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's common sense. You should know you don't murder people. So I don't care if you're like over the age of 12 and you murder somebody and it wasn't self-defense, you just did it just to do it, then you deserve to be treated like an adult, period. I really don't, come on, say care. Like, because what is you out here killing people? Like, and then the show pissed me off because they had so much sympathy for these murderers. When I'm like, then also it pissed me off about the show, it would show the families of these victims. It would show the family of the victims, and they were like, yeah, this guy needs to stay in jail because he killed our daughter. We don't get to see her no more. He gets to live the rest of his life free while our daughter was murdered by him. And I'm like, that's exactly how I feel. Keep that dude in jail. Like, why are we fighting for the rights of somebody who murdered somebody? I don't care how young they were. And then there was this one guy who he was just like, he was like in a gang and whatnot, and I don't think he pulled the trigger, but like he helped with the murder. Now that's different, I feel like, because he didn't really he was kind of like a take-hit situation where he didn't pull the trigger, but he went along with the ride. Now I'm not gonna speak on that, but yeah, if you point blank just murder somebody, I really don't care what happens to you. Like, honestly, that's it. Like, honestly, when it comes to you murder somebody, I don't care what happens to you. I don't care how young you was. Like, unless you was so young to understand what you was doing. But I feel like 12 is a good age, because when you turn 12, things change. You start to realize what you do. But of course, I'm not talking about if you was like 5 years old and your dad left the gun on the table, you shot him by accident. Like, that's obviously an accident, right? But there's not no way you accidentally murder somebody, drag their body out in the woods, lie to the police, somebody broke into the house. Like, there's no way. You deserve to stay in jail for the rest of your life and be treated like an adult. I don't care. Death penalty. Electric chair. That's it. But the next one says, bragging about causing someone harm is wrong no matter what. Okay, so this one comes from a TikTok that I seen of someone who was like, just bullied a zoophile into killing himself, something like that, trigger warning suicide. But yeah, this one is very controversial because people just think, oh yeah, these people need to die. I'm not gonna get too deep into it. I'm not making a separate video about it. But honestly, if you can sit here and brag about, I caused somebody to off themselves, I caused somebody's death, another human being, then that's weird to me. I really don't care what they did. Like, that's weird to me. Like, especially when they didn't even necessarily 100% hurt somebody. But I feel like that's just weird to me. Like, this one's kind of brief, but yeah, that's weird. You shouldn't be bragging. That's psychopath behavior. Like, you caused somebody to die. Like, and they didn't even personally do nothing to you. Like, you know what I mean? But anyways, next one. Y'all need to leave Eugenia Cooney alone. This one might be long, but y'all need to leave Eugenia Cooney alone. If you don't know who Eugenia Cooney is, pretty much she's like this really thin YouTuber, and the reason that her videos really trend and blow up is because of how thin she is. We're pretty sure she has eating disorder. Not really none of our business, but from what she looks like, it's almost obvious she has an eating disorder, right? And people literally will sit here and harass her, will sit here and send her donations trying to trigger her eating disorder and say, oh my god, you look fat, you should eat. I don't think that's right. And then I saw a video about it where someone had donated saying, you look fat, you need to lose more weight. And then people were in the comments like justifying it, like she doesn't care if she triggers anybody else. Why should I care if she gets triggered? And I still believe this, but I feel a little bit lenient now. But she's not telling nobody to go out and get eating disorder. She never has said that her weight is healthy. She's never promoted her weight. So I don't feel like it's fair to say she purposely triggers people. But at the end of the day, I feel like she does know what she's doing, in a sense of whenever she makes like them little try on hauls, we all know those are body checking videos. Like, we all know that's what that is. But at the end of the day, it's not even 100% her fault. Like, yeah, she posts videos, she chooses to keep posting them, but y'all are the ones giving her attention. Y'all are the ones flooding her comment section, making video after video about her, fueling her eating disorder. If y'all don't know, when people have eating disorders, they want to be told they look sick. They want to be told they look very thin. Like, y'all donating to her saying, I want you to get help, you're very skinny, like that does nothing for her but make her want to keep going. And that's what y'all don't understand. Y'all need to leave her alone. Like, at the end of the day, like, if we stop giving her attention, then she couldn't trigger nobody else. Like, I'm not saying her channel needs to be taken away, but like, y'all need to stop commenting on her weight, period. because at the end of the day, that's just gonna keep fueling her. And at this point, I feel like the first video she posted, which was like 6 years ago, she's been this thin. Like at this point, there's really no chance of her getting really better, to be honest. Like, and I hate saying that, but let's be honest here, like she's not getting better low-key, and y'all are just helping her really off herself. Like, y'all need to stop commenting on her weight and then getting upset and saying she's purposely triggering people. I don't care. Like, and this kind of goes with the one I just said, like, y'all are helping her off herself, and the ones who are sending donations trying to trigger her eating disorder, y'all are fucked up. Like, there's nothing, y'all are fucked up, y'all are messy, y'all need to do something. Like, that's not okay. And the last one says spanking your kids is abuse. End of the video. Bye, y'all. No, we gonna explain. So in my opinion, hitting your kids at all periods is abuse. Now I understand some things you need to teach your kid a lesson, like some things whoopings might be necessary, but I feel like at the end of the day, if you raise your kid right and from a young age you tell them right from wrong, you won't have to go to a point where you have to hit them. Like, I feel like a lot of people just be hitting their kids because they're frustrated and they don't know what else to do, and that's probably all they know. Like, and you know, I said spanking, but I really mean whooping with a belt. Like, when it comes to spanking, like, I guess, but I feel like there's always better ways to handle it, because you have to kind of raise your kids like the way that you want them to act when they're adults. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when they go out and get a job and they do something wrong, their boss isn't gonna spank them. Like, their boss isn't gonna whoop them. And then you're teaching your kid that anytime something doesn't go their way or someone doesn't act the way they want them to, that they can beat them. And it's giving very much slave mentality, and I don't like that. You know what I mean? I was never really whipped as a child. Like, I got a few whoopings because I did really bad shit, but that was pretty much it. And I would say I'm fine. Like, I'm well adjusted. Like, I'm good. Like, I know right from wrong. You know what I'm saying? There's always other ways to handle your kids, like taking things away, explaining to them why what they did was wrong. Like, I see a lot of people just whooping their kids and then not even explaining to them like what the problem was, what they did wrong, like what you even whoop them for if they don't even know. And like, a lot of people I be seeing in the Black community literally sit there and brag about whooping their kids, like, oh yeah, she said this to me and I had to go and to their homegirls. And I'm like, your 9-year-old child said something that offensive to you where you feel like you had to take your anger out on them. Like, that's a little weird to me. Like, I don't like that. So yeah, I feel like, especially, let's be honest, in the Black community, can we please stop whooping our kids and continuing that abuse and trauma cycle? Like, no, that's not, it's not giving. Like, I could go on about this topic all day, but I need to edit this video, so I'm gonna see y'all later. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, period. Bye, y'all.